Welcome to today's Daily Walk in Wisdom. We're in the Song of Songs. We're starting chapter 3 and verses 1 and 2. The Shulamite is talking and she says, "All night long on my bed I sought him whom my soul loves. I sought him, but I found him not. I will rise now and go about the city, in the streets and in the broadways, and I will seek him whom my soul loves. So I looked for him, but I found him not." She sought the king on her bed. Rightly, she identifies him as the one her soul loves. Only the born again, those that are saved, know who this is. All others are strangers to the state of their own heart. They seek to fill their God-shaped hole with all manner of earthly desires and earthly loves that can never satisfy our true longing. Once we meet Jesus, we realize he is the one that our soul has always loved. And from that moment on, he becomes the one that we pursue. That the Shulamite is seeking the king upon her bed is proof that the Song of Songs is about the relationship that we have with Jesus. Were it anything else, these words would be pointless. The Shulamite has learned that the soul seeks the Lord best when we are at rest. We'll not find Jesus through frenetic activity, yet often we think we should do something that will gain access to God, whether it's fasting or whether it's prayer or some kind of activity so that we can find access to God. But the soul will find God when the soul is at rest. Jesus has already done everything necessary for us to boldly approach the throne of God. It's not through religious ritual that we know him, it's through resting in the beloved. That being said, if God gives us a word, if he asks something of us, if he asks us to do something, we will not find rest until we are obedient. In fact, our rest comes through our obedience. And the Shulamite's disobedience and refusal to go to the mountains with Jesus has caused her first to see the king in a limited way, through the lattice, and eventually to lose sight of Jesus altogether, and the result is a sleepless night. Rather than go to the mountains with Jesus, she seeks him on the bed where previously he had been located, a past experience prior to when she was challenged, a more comfortable experience. There are times when we hold on to spiritual experiences that suit us, suit our personality, our likes and our preferences, and we maintain them to the exclusion of the Lord himself, seeking him in past things, yet finding he is no longer there. And so instead we begin to entertain a phantom of our own imagination that we call Jesus. It's as though we've got a photograph of Jesus upon our mantelpiece and think the emotions conjured when we look at it is the real thing. He must be sought where he is instead of where he used to be. Whole denominations are built around a past move of God, and because of this are bereft of the actual presence of the Lord. The word night in this passage is plural, indicating that her condition and her searching continued for a considerable period. However, she has at least begun to search for reconciliation and the restoration of her relationship. Night seasons do not only occur during times of disobedience. We might also experience the night season when we're enduring suffering or temptation or the dark night of the soul. These are periods where we must seek the Lord with earnest. It's during these times where God will withdraw his presence deliberately to bring about the intensification of our faith. Notice also that the bed had previously been called our bed, but it's now my bed. Having become the recipient of his benefits, she now enjoys his blessing more than she enjoys him. So beware fighting to maintain the blessings of God, whether they be doctrinal or natural or spiritual or familial or ecclesiastical or emotional. Bliss is found in Jesus, not in the thing that you receive from him. And then her search takes the Shulamite out into the city, out into the highways and the byways. Her desperate desire has finally driven her to leave her bed, but she knows not where to look. And the city represents man-made institutions, organizations, systems, man-made religion, even churches. The streets represent established ways, the systems that function according to history and society, or it could be institutionalized religion with its rigid routines of spiritual practice. The broad ways represent rationalizing God's ways. God's ways, or God's way, is always the narrow way. The broad way leads to destruction because it substitutes human ingenuity for God's thoughts. So the Shulamite, in trying to find Jesus, is knocking on the doors of all the institutions of man, all the churches, all the philosophies, all the societies, the education system. None of these can provide what her soul is yearning for. And night seasons come to intensify our yearning for Jesus. And so we will emerge out of our cocoons, our state of self-satisfaction, our introverted religious routines, or our mystical preoccupation, so that we can find our true identity in relationship with Jesus. No Christian lives without encountering these nights of felt absence of the King, the nights where we feel perhaps a little empty, where we feel as though God is 1,000 miles away and that the heavens are as brass. Every Christian will experience these times of necessity, and it's to intensify our faith, our belief, our confidence in him, no matter what, that we can say with Job, though he slay me, yet will I trust him. Even Jesus withdrew at night to seek the Father. These are essential so that when they come, you can understand. Now you can understand when they come what is going on, and use these times to draw you closer to Jesus. God bless you. That's a little wisdom from the Song of Songs. We'll see you again soon.